Alvin Kamara doing good things in this game. Alvin Kamara exploded on Thursday Night Football against the Jaguars, but ETN also exploded. There's some good and bad in this game. Ridley didn't show up. We knew that was a potential situation, trying to blanket this man. There are some pros and cons to the Ridley situation, and many people are going to be so down and out on Ridley that he's going to be essentially free walking into upcoming trade talks. So you got to ask yourself if you own him, if you're going to give him away. I'm certainly not going to. You have to also keep in mind Ridley's had 2 100-yard games this year. He has 2 touchdowns. He had 3 looks at the end of that game, 3 consecutive targets from T-Law. But there are some concerns. There is a problem, a pattern brewing of making excuses for Ridley. But also, I think there's an opportunity to get him dirt cheap, because everyone's going to want to write him off. I'm done with Ridley. I'm done with him. I'm going to trade him away. Branberry saying, stop talking up Ridley. Everyone's pissed off at Ridley. You guys are all going to give him away. Some of you might even cut him. And that just makes me think that he will be free. He will be free. Not everybody should go after him. He's not for everybody. But I think everyone's going to give this man away, and I don't think that should be the reaction. Alvin Kamara blowing up 62 yards on the ground, but where he did most of his damage was the 12 receptions for 91 freaking yards. Alvin Kamara went nuts. Travis Etienne, 53 yards and 2 touchdowns, pulling in another 3 receptions for 24 yards. Etienne and Kamara doing Etienne and Kamara type things. Let's go. Unreal. Trevor Lawrence coming through a little bit at the end. He obviously didn't have as good a game as he could have had because they kept running the ball. But having a touchdown at the end of the game, throwing it to Christian Kirk, 6 receptions, 90 yards, and a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence doing good damage on the ground with the 6 rushing attempts for 61 yards on the bum leg. Fantastic day at the end of the day for a couple of these guys, and bad day for several, including Olave. Didn't do horribly, but he definitely could have done a lot better. Could have got a touchdown at the end of that game. It was a tough grab. There was good coverage. It wasn't like it was likely to get pulled in. It's just, it would have been nice to see that. If Moreau would have caught that score there at the end and not dropped that game tying touchdown, we would be going to OT and seeing somebody get some more work. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Appreciate you all filing on in. Hit that like button on your way in the door. We're discussing this game, this Thursday night game, where Alvin Kamara and ETN had monster performances. Both of them played in insane fashion, helping fantasy owners kick their week off in a good, with a good tone, a good vibe. But of course, the Ridley owners are pissed off right now, and I understand, and I get it. And again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this other than to say, there's going to be 2 ways you could go about this. You could go about this in the spilled milk fashion and say, and I see it all over, and I get it. Agnew over Ridley. Ridley's cooked. Ridley's trash. Ridley had no separation. Ridley's wash. I mean, it's nonstop. Like in a what was a pro Ridley community. So, and I understand that, and not ham sandwich. It's nonstop. It's nonstop. We got almost 400 people in here. It is nonstop. So the question you got to ask yourself is if you could separate yourself from the moment and say, okay, if I own him, I can't just let him go. I can't just release him. I can't necessarily get rid of him. No one's gonna buy him. So you have 2 choices to make. You're either gonna get all upset and make some kind of heated in the moment trade for a guy that still has 2 100-yard games on the year. I'm not saying that's amazing. I'm just saying he has 2 100-yard games on the year. He did get 3 straight targets at the end of the game. I'm tired of being a Ridley apologist. I'll tell you that right now, because there's a lot of bad luck that constantly happens with him, and it's kind of a pattern at this point. So I'm there with everybody to suggest that maybe it's not the time to necessarily say that this is going to turn around for Ridley necessarily, but you certainly can't give him away. Would I trade low at the anger price points that I see right now? I would. I would take Ridley at all of the aggressive, I'm selling him, I'm getting rid of him price points. But that's neither here nor there. That is just a decision you got to make for yourself. There was a lot of good for this game, so we're not going to focus on all the bad, which there wasn't a ton of bad. I would say Trevor Lawrence, we hope we get more out of Trevor Lawrence, but the touchdown and all the rushing yardage did account for a pretty decent game out of Trevor Lawrence. 61 yards is basically a touchdown. So he, in all intents and purposes, had a 204-yard, 2-touchdown game statistically. So it was okay. He salvaged the day with the touchdown throw to Kirk. Kirk had a good day. Evan Ingram was solid. ETN was fantastic with these 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kamara was just on a whole nother level, pulling in 12 receptions, 14 targets for 91 yards. Imagine if Kamara had scored a touchdown. It's gonna be unbelievable to see Kamara in a situation, if it does arise, where he's scoring lots of touchdowns on top of all of his PPR production. I don't know that that's going to necessarily exist, that world, because it seems like the Saints are kind of one of those teams that can't creatively get in the end zone on the consistent. They tend to do things at the end of games. I will probably say that Kamara's days will only get better, not worse, in terms of the touchdown production. But I think the reason why he has 12 receptions for 91 yards is because they're playing from behind and they don't have an opportunity to run him into the end zone, etc., etc. So, obviously Kamara is looking good. ETN's looking good. Ridley's looking very bad right now, and I understand the reactions. It's just, like I said, what stance are you going to take going forward if he's being given away for free and we have people saying they're going to drop him? Would you not pick up Ridley off the waiver wire? I mean, I know everyone's emotional right now, but there's still a lot of football left to be played, and I'm not saying it's an easy thing to put him back in your lineup. I'm not necessarily saying that. You could put him on the bench for the time being. No question about it. I can understand that, especially if you've got good options on the table for you. But is this a guy you cut? No, it's not. That's emotional. You're overreacting. You're an overreacting Oscar if you're going to cut him and release him into the wild. Let's see here. Let's get into some of the super chats and phone calls. We're going to do some phone calls. We might even do a draft or two. This is the game logs I want to put up here on screen for you guys for a moment. And then we'll get into and some of the phone calls and super chats. River, you got 30 seconds, bro.
Yo, Smitty, my bad. I'm just trying to get in before I go to work. I've been missing the show a lot. I'm trying to get Eckler. I offered the dude last night, and he sent me back an offer. I went ahead and offered him, tried to get Swift from him. Like you said, play it, so I'm not trying to get Eckler. He sent me an offer back, A.J. Brown, and for Swift and Deebo Samuel. I was wondering if you could think of any moves I could make to maybe get that Eckler trade instead, persuade him over to Eckler instead of Swift.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily like this move. Deebo's injured right now. There's no reason to go after Deebo right now at this price tag.
No, that's just what he sent me back
in
return.
Yeah.
I was really just trying to go for Eckler.
I mean, I'm totally on board trading AJB for Eckler, but no. I mean, I don't know how else
AJB for Eckler straight up?
Yeah, I would. I mean, if you need an RB, they're both very
ETN. I got ETN and JT right now. I was just worried about JT a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely would do this trade, AJB for Eckler, but not Swift. I like Swift, but Deebo's injured. Like, in a perfect world, Swift and Deebo wouldn't be crazy for AJB, but Deebo's injured. I just think AJB's got more value. I want to go get Eckler, and if you've got to throw in, what can you throw in?
All right, hold on, let me look. Yeah, I just offered Swift because last night you're saying maybe offer a different running back if you're really trying to get Eckler. So that's what I was going with there. But I have ETN, JT, Amari Cooper, Drake London, Christian Watson, Roschon, those are some of my trade pieces. I'm not getting rid of my other players I didn't list.
Yeah, I don't know. Just keep working it. Throw in little things. I got to go. I got to get to these super chats, and we're going to get back. I got like 20 people trying to call in at this moment. The phone line's just going. So hang tight. I know when I answer one call, everybody floods in and tries to call. I've literally got 15 numbers, and I can't. Look, hang tight, guys. The phone lines aren't open yet. River, I answered Rivers, and I answered Hank's. But I can't answer anybody else's until I clear some of these supers, and then we're going to open up the phone lines. So everybody else dialing in right now. There's 15 of you trying right now. River, you got 30 seconds. That's it.
That was me just answering my question, but I appreciate you. I was just trying to get in before I got into work.
Hank,
so thank you.
I hung up on Hank then. Sorry, Hank. Hank, try one more time just because I had you on the line, Hank. But that's it. Okay, I'm going back to these. We'll get to the supers, and then we'll get straight to it. So Young, Ridley, T-Law, zero chemistry. It's over with Smitty, says Young. He's writing off Ridley. And first super chat of the day gets a standing ovation. Look, I don't blame anybody. I don't blame anybody for jumping off the Ridley train entirely. I don't blame you. Just make sure you're not cutting him. Make sure you're not giving him away for a ham sandwich. There's still a lot of football to be played. That's all I'm cautioning you into. And if he gets cut, are you really not going to pick him up? Hank, you got 30 seconds. I'll open the phone lines in a minute, but Hank, you got 30 seconds, and that's it.
I saw you where you were talking about Ridley, and if I was a Ridley owner, I would be patient with him, man. Like sometimes, it happens. People have bad games. I would say be patient with Ridley if I'm all the
Yeah, I know people are really overreactive. I'm trying to be receptive to that right now versus yelling at people or anything. Like, do I understand about putting him on the bench until further notice? I do. I get it. Like, you got a lot of better options. I understand. But Ridley does have 2 100-yard games to his name this year. He is still getting back into football. Am I excited that there's any hiccups at all? No, absolutely not. But is he drop worthy? No, he's not drop worthy. He's still got elite skill set that isn't necessarily showing through, and some of it's on the offense too. Though, like at some point, I'm tired of being a Ridley apologist, but at some point we got to accept that the offense has so many mouths to feed. It's just this isn't Ridley. This is more of a situational problem. So I think I don't know that it's going to change, which is why I'm trying to be receptive to everybody's overreaction, and it is an overreaction. But I mean, I do wonder what the Ridley fan base that is disappearing like crazy right now, what they're going to do when he has 100-yard 2 TD game upcoming or something like that. I'm just curious to know where everyone's going to lean at that point. Because I feel like a big game will come. A big game will come. The problem is, will people have them in their lineups? No. And then guess what? They're going to hate Ridley even more. All right, Hank, I got to go. Call in when the phone lines are open. Appreciate you calling in with the little cautionary tale there. Thank you, ETN to the moon, says Andre. ETN to the moon. Appreciate your super chat. ETN to the moon for sure. ETN had such a good day, bro. Such a good day. We got a $20 hauler from Christian. Christian says Smitty traded Swift, Damian Pierce, Ayuk, Myers, and Pickens for Eckler. So Swift, Ayuk, yes. I mean, look, I like Swift, but Ayuk is good. There's no big guns in here. And you're getting Sanders, who you can trade, Hollywood, who you can start or trade, and Garrett Wilson. Like, how are you getting all that? You could have done all that for Eckler alone. So that's a fantastic trade.
Got him.
And $20 hauler on top of that. So let's go.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Did 5. I saw a few of you calling in. I don't know if I had any Marsman calling in for a quick 30 or 15 seconds or 30 seconds. Ron, I did see you dial in. Ron, I'll give you 30 if you want to dial in, but brief. I need to keep it brief. I got to roll through these. Traded Swift. What a trade. What a trade. What a magnificent trade, Christian. You did good, son. You did real good. That boy says 1-5, 2 QB league. Do I trade CD, Rashad White, Laporta for Bijan, Devontae Smith, and Higbee? Yes. Yes, you do that. You make that trade, you do it live. Cap from Florida calling in. You're not a Mars man. You got to wait your turn, pal. Hold on. Phone lines aren't open. There's a reason there's a few people that have purchased this little number right here. Marsman card. Breaks you free into the show for a 30-second, especially when phone lines are open. You definitely got to stick to a 30-second, even if you are Marsman, but you can break through. So hang tight, Cap. We bench Ridley or what? Annoyed? He's why I've lost. You haven't lost yet. It's Thursday Night Football. It's Thursday Night Football. You haven't lost it. This is one game. You still got Sunday's games and all that. I've seen so many people saying, well, it's over this week. How is it over this week? Thoughts on Mason starting this week with Christian McCaffrey questionable? I mean, you have no idea whether Mason's going to be a good play for you or not, Perez, until game day. And even then, Mitchell's probably the backup, not Mason, which is what we try to tell everybody. And that could change if Mitchell is banged up in warmups, or they decide not to tell us that he's still hurt or something. But Mitchell is the backup in San Francisco, and definitely watch my waiver wire show for more details on that pecking order that I think everybody's got wrong. We think Ford over Ridley rest of season in the flex. Let's see what Ford does this week, and then we'll answer that question. But, sitting him isn't crazy, but there's risk in sitting him, just like there's a risk in starting him. Taysom Hill next 3 games, Indy, Chicago, and Vikings, all favorable matchups for those struggling tight ends like owners like me. Dropped Michael Wilson and played him at the flex. It's a great play this week. Gator, appreciate your super chat, my broski. David with a $7 hauler. 0-6 had to make a move. Traded Walker for Aaron Jones, Addison, Rice, and Zach Evans. I don't know that was the move to make. It's not horrible, David, but I think I had to make a move as an excuse, though. You have to make a move, but you didn't have to make that move. I don't know that I love that trade, but it's not horrible. I think there's some good pieces and components to that trade. But I think Kenneth Walker, with that bye week out of the way, you're almost stepping on your own foot and tripping yourself when you have an advantage of no bye week for Kenneth Walker. And Aaron Jones doesn't have a bye week either, but I mean, he's still recovering a little bit. I don't know. Hopefully Aaron Jones goes nuts this week, and that could prove to be a great trade, but I don't know. Trade Ridley for Scary Terry and Spears. Look, Spears could win leagues if Derrick Henry gets traded out of Tennessee, so I don't hate that trade. I don't think anybody should give away Ridley, and I think getting a combination of players you believe in is not a horrible deal. I don't know that I would do that trade in every league, but I don't think that's take a lap material. Higgins had what Ridley had done all season in week 2. TDs, but every time he's brought up, it's what has he done all year, says Asher. Thank you, Asher, for the $5 hauler. It will just be very interesting if Ridley does bounce back, what the Ridley hate will look like, how it will turn. Will it be even more aggressive because people won't have him in their lineups? I get it. Should I trade Pacheco plus Cooper for Eckler? If you like winning, I would go get Eckler. Absolutely, broski. Easy question, if you ask me. Corn, $2 hauler. CD for Higgins and James Cook. I would rather have James Cook. CD Lamb over James Cook and Higgins. James Cook and Higgins is not bad, but I would rather have CD Lamb. I think it's a better side of the trade. Navy vet, $2 hauler. Christian Kirk over Calvin Ridley rest of season. Until further notice, yeah. I mean, that's an objective look at it. That's not crazy at all. That's logical. but cutting him is not logical. Culpepper, appreciate you. The $5 hauler. Man, I just traded Kamara and Debo away for Adams and Mixon. Yeah, I mean, look, there's pros and cons to it. I'm definitely not a Mixon fan. You know that about me. If you ask me the question, I'm always going to be on the I don't like the Mixon side. But honestly, this still could work out for you. Adams could go out and have as good a day as Kamara just had. But yeah, I don't know that I'm trading away Kamara and Debo. And I still believe in Debo on several levels. It's just he's been banged up right now. But, you know, it still could work out for you. But Mixon's still got to play. And maybe you between Adams and Mixon, you get some good production and you feel better about it. But I definitely am not in the business of getting Mixon. I am not giving up on Ridley. People just have to realize the Jags play conservative, which I believe slows down the pace of the player he's supposed to be. I think the other thing people are not going to recognize is that he was targeted 3 straight times at the end of the game on big plays that didn't connect. He did catch a ball that I believe he was not out of bounds, and that would have added to his stat line a little bit. It was like a 19, 20-yard, 25-yard reception where he pulled in a beautiful catch with one hand and had his toe down right on the edge of the line, didn't put his heel down, and they called it out of bounds. And I think if they reviewed it, it might have been in. I know a lot of people are going to debate that or say, whoever, stop apologizing for him. But, like, Ridley did have a very nice catch and then was targeted 3 straight times in a row. And we can't make excuses for him, but I'm just saying, like, there's potential that people are going to ignore. I'm not giving up on him, says Charles. I'm not giving up on him either. It depends on what I have on my bench, whether I play him, but I'm certainly not going to give up on him. Other backs are Bijan and Eckler, says Culpepper. Professor Stroke, $5 hauler, appreciate you, broski. Was 0-3 without Kamara and now 3-3 and have a good chance at 4-3 after tonight. Can we get a Kamara emoji? We'll look into that for sure, but Kamara to the freaking moon.
To the moon.
Kamara is one of the best things that, you know, we did pump up all offseason long. Thank God there's several things doing amazingly. But this season's crazy. This season's crazy. If anybody thinks that they're the only one struggling on some level in some league, everyone that plays in 4, 5, 6 leagues has a team tanking because of busts and injuries. What's wrong with Olave? Derek Carr is the answer to that rock out. Unfortunately, you know, I almost want Winston to go in there, get that air yard action going on. I mean, Carr is just pedestrian, and he just, like the comment earlier about the Jags being slowed down. I feel like the Derek Carr experiment is slowing down the ability to move the football vertically, and that's what sucks. Dynasty got offered Ridley in a 4th for Achane. Bro, what on earth makes you think I'm going to trade Achane, especially for a player that is struggling? Achane, that's near take a lap worthy questioning right there. DeBalt, I'm not going to do it because you're an avid super chatter, and I appreciate you, pal. Now the phone lines are open. Call into the Alex phone line, Soberon phone line. Alex Soberon is the highest super chatter of the year so far in the month of October only, and he is the sponsored name on the phone line. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
If you want to own the phone line for the month of October, just knock Alex Soberon off by dropping a 140 or above super chat. Dial into the Alex Soberon phone line now. Yeah. Let's put this on this screen. I'll copy that real quick. We got Cap calling in. Cap, you got 30, and that's it, bro. I hang up on you. You better get it in. Go, Cap, go.
Hello?
Cap, you got 22 seconds now, Cap. You're wasting time.
All right, bro. So listen, look, tonight was very productive, bro. ETN did good for me. Carr, say what you will, did productive also with the numbers. I came out with 40 points. My question to you is, with the trade I made for Barkley and Sun God, giving up Barkley and some other guys, do you think I should go give up Puka, give up Barkley, and go after Eckler?
Puka and Barkley for Eckler? I probably would. I would try and get something back so it feels a little more even, just in case, let's say, Barkley does perform very well, you know, or some craziness happens and he gets traded. Like whatever. Like I would definitely, bro, definitely be considering this trade. But I would make sure I get something else significant at all. Like look at his team. Who's doing bad? Who do you like that's really low? Does he have a Ridley sitting there?
Well, I'm trying to help him out so he can beat the competition in front of him.
Whoa! You're trying to help me? Oh, whoa! You trying to help me help you collude? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, look, it's a competition. If he can knock out my competition at the same time and we both get productive players in the process, it's a win-win. For me, I'm banking on Spears. That's my backup plan.
It's borderline collusion, my guy. You're borderline colluding right here. I don't know that I can be a part of this. But I would say, like, go get Eckler. Go get Eckler. It's a good trade. All right, Cap, go get him. Just get something thrown in. All right, Donnie Bravo, you got 30 seconds, pal. Go, Donnie.
Hey, Smitty. I have 2 questions. Geno Smith or Baker Mayfield for this week?
Geno Smith or Baker? Chad, are we doing Geno Smith or Baker? Geno Smith or Baker? Bro.
The second question?
What?
Second question I had was trying to trade for A.J. Brown. I currently have CeeDee Lamb and Pollard because I just got Pollard. So I was thinking of doing CeeDee and Olave to get A.J. Brown. Is that overpaying?
Yeah. CeeDee and Olave for A.J. Brown, that's a big overpay, I think. I know everyone's going to hate Olave tonight, too, and act like Olave's benchable. Olave still had a decent day. And there's always missed touchdown opportunities and things you could look at Olave's game and say, damn, if you just would have done that, even at the end of the game there. But 7 for 57 is like his worst day. You're going to get 10, 12 points out of Olave in a really bad game. So we, as far as the votes, we got Geno pretty much across the board. Geno Smith, put Geno in. He does feel safer. I agree. Okay. I agree with the chat.
I actually traded DJ Moore for Olave because of the whole quarterback situation. And I was actually thinking of doing CD and DJ Moore for AJ Brown. I don't know if that's still the same as like trading Olave.
I mean, didn't you just ask me? Didn't you just ask me that?
No, I think I asked you CD and Olave for AJ Brown.
Oh, then what was the second one then?
Well, prior to making the trade, it was going to be CD and DJ Moore for AJ Brown. But I don't know if that's still the same.
Yeah, I'm not giving up both those wide receivers for AJ Brown. I like AJ Brown a lot. I do, bro. But there's still there's still a protocol for giving up guys like Olave and like Lamb went nuts. Lamb's gonna be a little more shaky than AJ Brown, I think. But AJ Brown's still a little bit of an injury risk, no matter how many games he plays in a row. Doesn't change anything. I don't like two players on the same team, because if the whole team does that, then they both do that. And me having Pollard and CD. Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
I like it. I like AJB. Can you get something else in return? If you can, then it makes it more arguable. But I don't know that I can give you a yes on this. I know you want me to say yes to it, but I love AJ Brown.
No.
But CD Lamb's still very, very good. Olave's not a throw-in. But try and get more in return, and then it's something. Okay.
What about London?
Get London in return, then I'm on board.
No, like CD and London to get AJ Brown.
Sure. Yeah, I'd do that.
Okay.
All right, later.
Okay.
All right, Sebastian, you got 30.
Okay, so I have Christian Watson and Jalen Waddle, and I'm really high on both of them. But it's a toss-up as far as flex plays go. I'm doing Waddle this week because of the game script. I was going to say both of them boom. Who do I sell?
I mean, they're both very good, bro. They're both very, very good, and they're both capable of. Watson, okay, he's got to stay healthy. Love's got to do well. Waddle's got to stay healthy. There's a lot that, he's had like some bad moments this year. So there's pros and cons to both. But I'd say, if they feel equal to you after this week, and they might or might not. Like Christian Watson could have 70 yards, and then you're like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about Christian Watson. Then you might not even be able to sell him. Or he could have freaking, I don't know, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, Christian Watson. And then all of a sudden you're going to have him miles above Waddle. Waddle could have 110. So we got to wait till this week's over. But once this week's over, what wide receiver can get you more? And then you got to decide whether you're feeling good about the other one and then go from there. But there's no just like, you can't make these decisions before they play. Unless you're going to trade them right now. But you're saying after this week. So
full.
What?
Yeah, my whole team is full of first and third round picks in every position, except I'm turning waivers at quarterback. So I'm trying to turn one of those players into a quarterback when they blow up. It's either going to be a Mahomes or Allen. That's what I'm trying to.
You got to do that now, my bro, before Mahomes bounces back, before Allen has a huge game, before Hurts has a monstrous game, before Tua becomes hard to even trade for, period. Like, you can't wait. I think if you wait, bro, you're not going to be able to get him.
Well,
but you never know. Maybe
would it be Waddle and Sutton because he passed by? Or my bad, because Watson passed by? Would it be Waddle plus a piece?
For who?
For a top 3 quarterback.
This is a hard conversation to have in 30 seconds because I don't know what their quarterback situation looks like. Do they need another quarterback? Who are you going to give them? What are they going to do at quarterback?
Everybody in my league has backup.
Okay, but who's who's the Mahomes owner have as a backup? Because if you're trying to trade, Waddle for Mahomes, who's going to be a starter? I mean, I doubt he's going to do that, but you could try Waddle and another piece. I wouldn't give up Waddle and necessarily Watson, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe it depends on what you have, but I'd definitely give up Waddle and a piece or Watson and a piece right now for Mahomes. No doubt about it. And I'd do that now. I wouldn't necessarily wait. All right, I gotta roll. Get back in line if you got another question, Sebastian, and we'll put you on. All right, Ron, I'll put you on the clock. We'll probably talk just a touch over, but hit me with it.
Everybody's like going against Ridley. Call it what it really is. Call it what it really is. T-Law sucked. He ran the ball, of course, wonderful. Like, I want to see a quarterback run like that. He was ineffective. His passing was inaccurate. He looked like 2 years ago, T-Law. Inaccurate passing. He only threw the ball 8 times in the whole second half. 8 times. So get off of Ridley. When you throw the ball 8 times, what's that give to Ridley or any of the other receivers? I mean, Kirk just got lucky that he broke one, and they were all his passes were short passes. They were all mostly check down passes. He couldn't get the ball down the field. He really stunk. And I wish they would have lost the game because they deserved to lose that game because they were up and they could have put them away and they didn't because their offense was so ineffective.
So,
except for ET. How
much of that is coaching and play calling, though? You know what I mean? Like, we could keep going down the line and saying, well, okay, well, is it T-Law or is it the play calling? Because I feel like they don't target Ridley until the end of games, and then if you watched the end of that game, I'm sure you did, they forced the ball to Ridley 3 straight times in a row. So, like, they use them, but they only use them at that moment in time. It's like, I feel like the play calling gets really, really spotty once they get in the middle of a game. They do really well in the beginning of the game. They run the ball fantastically, and all of a sudden they start just effing with everything, and they play safe and conservative. They're punting the ball constantly. And I agree with you in terms of, like, I think people are way too hard on Ridley and not hard on the situation. I don't know if the situation, how much of it's T-Law. He also is still injured, so, like, he's throwing. I know he's running around, but he's even said that his straightforward.
He ran the ball.
Right. He said his straightforward running isn't affected. He said his
passing down the field inaccurate.
I know. So he said his straightforward running is unaffected, but his planting, cutting, and things like that still make it hard for him. Like when he was throwing in warm-ups, he would throw it and hop on the other leg. So He still got some of that, I think, it's making him a little inaccurate. But
I'm not giving him that excuse because on that one play he went back, he pivoted around, and he ran the ball. So he had the cut, and he didn't come up lame after doing that. So he's perfectly fine. He's perfectly fine to cut. He did cut. He ran the ball down the field. He ran some straight ones at the beginning, but in the last part, he pivoted and cut on that knee, and he was perfectly fine. His passing was inaccurate. He was just like 8 passes the whole.
Yeah, but again, 8 passes is part of the offense and the coaching too. I'm not saying it's not all. There's not a lot on T-Law. I'm just saying that it sucks that Ridley's not being used, and I don't know that you can put it all on T-Law. You got to put it on a mixture of T-Law not connecting when he does throw, but also the play calling. Like they had, what was it, at one point near the end of the game there, they had 10 or 12 yards in the second half, and entering the final like 5 minutes of the game or something. It was like passing. It was it was under 20.
Yeah, some of it was play call because they got totally conservative. And they let New Orleans back in the game because they were being so conservative, like on third down. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, whatever the case may be,
I think what it was is they were afraid to let T-Law. Part of it was the play calling, yes, and I think they were afraid because they were afraid that he might take a hit or something or whatever, so they ran the ball a lot. But that's still no excuse. He was fine. If he was fine enough to run, throw him. But when he did throw, he was inaccurate except for check down passes. I mean, most of the passes were just little check down passes.
I think
that's all they were.
My ultimate assessment is Ridley is still a very good receiver that everybody's pissed off at right now for multiple reasons that I think can be blamed on play calling, coaching, T-Law, bad circumstance, all that. You can't make excuses over and over and over for a player, so I'm just saying that when I watched this man catch that one, and I believe that catch was in. They showed his foot come down. It was probably like on the line to the point where you couldn't say it was in or out. They didn't replay it. It was an amazing one-handed catch by Ridley. I think people just crap on him because, they're counting on him for fantasy purposes and he doesn't pull through and they're pissed at him, and I get it. But
though the passes were all behind him.
And I could understand that. I could understand that point.
In front of him. And you know what? Olave wasn't any better, really. I mean, he was running routes and not catching the ball like he should have been. I was disappointed in Olave tonight too. And I'm tired of seeing Carr cry like a little baby. Suck it up and play damn football.
Yeah, he does look like he's out for the season every other play, and then he plays. All right, Ron, good call. I mean, I agree with some of it. I'm not going to defend that T-Law looked great tonight. He didn't. But I'm also not going to blame it all on him because I think this play calling is atrocious sometimes. They'll do so well at the beginning of a game, establish the run, and then they abandon the run, and then they don't. I don't know. It's frustrating watching a Jaguar game.
It was great for ETN. ETN went off. Kamara had a good, but there wasn't a lot of Yeah.
I do think everybody's a little bit, and including Ron, I do think overly critical on T-Law. Like, he gutted through a knee injury, ran like a monster. I know you say you don't want that, but I'm just saying he ran like a monster, and he threw a touchdown pass to seal the game, essentially. I'm just saying, like, everybody can get mad at T-Law all they want, but T-Law still played pretty damn good. Like everyone's mad from a fantasy perspective.
He threw a pass over the middle that the greatness that Kirk is, and he made that touchdown. It wasn't like it was really Trevor Lawrence that threw a great touchdown pass. No, that was all Kirk.
I know, but I'm just saying at what point they won the game. They won the game. They're looking good from a football perspective in many ways. Like, I'm just saying, everybody's coming at this from a fan.
Touchdown pass credit to Kirk.
I mean, you can, but you could also say that, like, T-Law threw a touchdown pass.
He ran over 40 yards for that touchdown. It was all Kirk. It had nothing to do with the little pass that T-Law gave to him. I mean, he was hitting those little short passes.
I'm not saying T-Law had the
That's
best
all he did.
fantasy game ever. I'm just saying T-Law won this game, helped win this game. You could say Kirk won it. That's fine. Neither here nor there. But I'm just saying T-Law, he signal called a winning performance, and he's getting crapped on pretty hardcore because I think people have their fantasy caps on, which I get it. It's a fantasy show. But I just think T-Law is a little better than people are giving him credit for right now. I think
Anthony, I'm not a T-Law hater. I'm just calling it what it is. And if you can't realize it, if you can't come to the truth of it, and I'm not drunk. I don't drink hardly ever at all. So don't sit there and say I'm drunk. I'm not drunk. I'm calling it what it is. And if you can't come to the terms of it that he didn't have a great last week, he had a really good game. I'm not a T-Law hater, but I'm calling it what it is.
Yeah. All right, appreciate you, Ron. Good topic. It's a good topic. It's got good debatable sides. I mean, I don't disagree with some of what you're saying. I'm just thinking, I'm just defending Ridley's talent a little more than most people in here, and that's fine. And I get why everybody's pissed off at Ridley, and he hasn't been performing. I don't want to be a Ridley apologist, and I'm not. I'm telling you, it's okay to bench him. I'm not saying you. I'm saying the chat. I'm just merely here to say objectively, T-Law played pretty good when you dial it all down to the facts that he's playing injured. He had a brace on. He was scrambling around. The team won, and he had some bad throws. He's still trying to get through all that. And look, I'm not defending everything about T-Law's game tonight, but I do believe Ridley's more of a victim of this situation, whether it's what you're saying, Ron, and T-Law, or whether it's what I'm saying in a combination of everything. Ridley's more of a victim than a bad player. And do I think it will change? I don't know. That's where I'm okay with everybody abandoning ship a little bit, like not to the tune of dropping him like some of the crazy comments that I've seen, but I can understand people saying, but will it turn around? And that answer I don't know, but I do know that people are overly critical on the man's talent, and it's more about situation that may or may not fix. We'll have to see.
And really, did Jacksonville win the game, or did Marone just lose the game? Marone just lost the game. I hit him in the hands, and he just lost the game. Jacksonville really didn't. Jack pretty much almost gave
that would have went to OT. It went to OT, and then we would have seen. But yeah, they definitely gave away their shot to stay in it. That's for sure, Moreau. But hey. Yeah. There's a lot of things you could say the whole game, things like that happen, All right, Ron.
ETN was on fire.
Yeah, ETN, Kamara.
Was on fire.
Kamara.
I don't like Kamara, but he was on fire. I can't.
He was 12 receptions, 91 yards. All right, later, Ron. Appreciate
you.
All
right, get on, bro. I'll talk to you later.
Spiffy, you got 30.
Yo, Smitty. Hey, I got a trade I received. It's basically I will be sending around Bijan and I'll be sending Bijan, Garrett Wilson, and I'll be receiving Amon-Ra St. Brown and Ramondre Stevenson. PPR. I should mention this guy was also interested in Swift.
Over who?
Oh no! I'm just saying like he either or if he's fine with either one.
Well, I'd much rather give Swift over Bijan. I would say this trade, no. As much as I love Amon-Ra, Stevenson is no lock of any kind whatsoever. Right now, he's kind of scary, to be honest, to own. But he's got the potential to bounce back, but I'm going to take the Bijan Garrett Wilson side. Keep in mind, Garrett Wilson was one penalty away from having well over 100 yards. He had like a 90-yard game, looked really good, was oversaturated with targets. I really like Garrett Wilson, but I think how can you trade Bijan right now when I don't know. You got to ride that train out a little bit. I love Amon-Ra. He has been injury prone. Stevenson's a mess. I'm not going near this. Would I trade Swift and Garrett Wilson for Amon-Ra and Stevenson? Maybe.
Do you think Kyron Williams will make the trade seem better? I don't know if you're higher on Kyron than Stevenson.
Yeah. I mean, look, Kyron's out a while for sure, but you give me Amon-Ra and Kyron, now we're probably talking. I mean, he's definitely out a good, the good 4 weeks. But does anybody like Amon-Ra and Kyren Williams or Bijan Garrett Wilson? I don't know if I do it. I'm just saying that's much more attractive because, bro, Stevenson might be not even startable by the time Kyren comes back, and you're like, holy crap, I could have got Kyren. Would the chat rather have Kyren and Amon-Ra? Let's move this. Kyren and Amon-Ra or Garrett Wilson, Bijan. Now, I'd rather probably get rid of Swift and Bijan still, and then you start getting into a much better trade overall.
So you think maybe if that trade becomes instead of Bijan, Swift and Wilson?
Yeah, I don't really want to trade. I don't really want to trade Bijan no matter what, I think. But you do Swift and Garrett Wilson for Amon-Ra Kyren. That's definitely a nice side of it. But don't trade Bijan. I don't like the Bijan side either way.
Yeah, I guess I can see that. Yeah, because I'm trying to get out of Garrett Wilson. I mean, if I could, right?
Yeah.
So.
Go get Amon-Ra and Kyren for Swift. If you can do this, bro, you're definitely doing a much better trade. Swift and Garrett Wilson for Amon-Ra and Kyren. That's much better. All right, Spiffy, you got to go. Appreciate you.
Gotcha.
All right, we got super chat, so I got to keep this to 30 seconds, guys. I'm hanging up on you. I'm being stern here. Marsman, rock out. You got 30, pal. Appreciate you. I didn't see you until now.
As far as defense, would you go with Washington, Seattle, or Las Vegas?
Washington, Seattle, LV.
Washington plays Giants.
Yeah.
And Seattle plays Arizona.
Yeah.
And then Vegas plays Chicago.
Yep. Washington, Seattle, LV. I like Washington right now. I'm still gandering.
Yeah, we don't know if Jones is playing or not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know that matters. I think either way, I think the Cardinals are tough enough that it's like not as high scoring as you think, against the Cardinals, but it's still nice. It's a nice matchup. But I'm probably going to say, give me Washington against a very, very shaky as can be New York Giant football team. But your other one was Las Vegas, right? That's not bad. I mean, look, we got a rookie quarterback. Yeah, you know what? I don't know, guys. Are we looking Las Vegas against this rookie, or is
Howard Taylor, Daniel Jones?
Mm-hmm. This one's tough, bro. Because Las Vegas has got, they got they got a decent, opportunistic defense that could take advantage of this situation. Very tempted to say, this is tough. Yeah, I'd say Washington feels. What?
I said I'm on the fence with Vegas and Washington right now.
Yeah, let's see what the chat says. Are we going Vegas against the Bears and a rookie quarterback that we don't know what the hell he's going to do? Or do we go Washington Commanders against the Giants who look awful? They're rotating quarterbacks. They can't move the football. Let's see what the chat says. So vote Vegas or Washington Commanders.
Vegas are doing 10, 12 points the last 2 games, and Washington only had one good game, which was last week.
Yeah, it looks like there's a slight lean toward Raider, toward the. Well, no.
Looks 50-50 right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. We could play it back.
Yeah. All right.
Saturday.
Yeah. Just keep looking at the chat. Looks like Vegas took a little bit of a lead. It's close, man. Vegas ain't bad. Rookie quarterback. I don't mind that. And on top of that, bro, Bears play calling and Bears coaching staff mixed with the rookie quarterback. Maybe he surprises though, but yeah. All right, Rock Out. Appreciate you.
All
right, guys. After Rock Out, he's a Mars man. He got a little leeway. We're literally sticking to 30 seconds. I'm hanging up on you. So you better get your question in. Kai from Kansas.
You promise. Okay, Smitty. I got a couple questions here. I traded Flowers and Rice for Ayuk. How are we feeling?
Rice for Ayuk. I can get behind that. Yeah.
Flowers and Rice.
Yep.
For Ayuk.
I can get behind that. All right. 11 seconds.
Ayuk or Olave rest of the season?
Honestly, Olave's like or Ayuk's crafty. You know, like you could say safer, but I still think I don't know. I guess if you want ultimate safety, and listen offline, pal. If you want ultimate safety, I mean, Ayuk is probably safer. I mean, than Olave in that situation right now. It sucks, bro. But Olave's got higher upside. And I don't know that I could necessarily write Olave off. He's doing really well this year for the most part. And in today's game, 7 for 57 was his worst game. But Ayuk is nice. There's some worry about injury concerns, especially in that offense and all that. So you got to kind of pick your poison there. Chris, you got 30.
Yeah, just touching back on that trade last night, I was sending over Henry and A.J. Brown. I ended up with T. Higgins, Eckler, and Pickens.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, you were. I tried for Lamb, like you were saying. I guess my question is now. He said he wants Pollard, and it'd be Pollard and Ridley for Lamb and Mostert.
All right, I gotta let you go. Pollard, Ridley for Lamb, Mostert. Pollard, Ridley for Lamb and Mostert. You got to take the Lamb and Mostert side, I think. Pollard and Ridley is tough, but really right now, this is me being objective. I would say you got to lower the expectation for right now. So the Lamb, Mostert, look, he could get hurt at any moment, but he's a top 5 to 7 running back right now, maybe higher. So that's kind of an easy one. Sebastian, you got 30. You saw how I cut off Chris. Don't make me cut you off. You got 26 seconds.
Given I have Brees and Roschon, would now be the time to move Montgomery for Christian Watson as my WR3 to lock up my flex rest of the season?
Montgomery for Christian Watson. That's tough because he's injured right now, but it doesn't feel like a season-ending injury. Ron Navy with the 10 gifted memberships. Ron Navy to the moon. Appreciate you, Ron Navy, for dropping that. Ron to the moon. Send him to the moon.
To the moon. Roschon come up.
I'm sorry.
Hit
me with it again. Whoever I just added, was that Matthew? Mute yourself, Matthew. And please turn the show down in the background, guys. We got massive reverb.
I said that move is intriguing to me because I'm pretty happy with Brees, and I have Roschon coming. I got him for nothing, and I also have Spears and Sharps too, so they can pop off at any moment.
Tell me the trade again. Christian Watson for who?
Montgomery.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Once Monty's back, and who the hell knows if he's back in like 1 or 2 weeks, then it's like he's a top 5 to 10 running back. You know what I mean? So I don't know that that's the smartest move. But at the same time, if he misses 2 or 3 or 4 more weeks and you can't weather that storm, I understand why you'd want Christian Watson. My advice to you is this: have him offer this trade. Because Monty isn't playing anyway, right? Have him offer this trade. Have your finger over the button and decide based on Christian Watson's performance. If Watson goes out and has 120 yards and 2 touchdowns, you're going to feel pretty damn good about taking the gamble on it. But if he goes out and has 70 yards and no scores, you're going to be like, let's just wait on Monty. So I would definitely not do the trade, especially if he says it's either now or never, then I'd say never. But have him send the offer and just tell him you will accept at some point this week. Let you feel out the games and everything like that.
I'll give him the 2-day window. I'll have him send it right now, and then I'll just pull the plug on it if it all goes well.
Yeah, make him send it to you so you can make the decision, because you probably want to hold Monty if Watson doesn't go nuclear. You know? All right, later, bro.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Let's go over to Scotty Dew. You've got 30 seconds, my broski.
What's up, Smitty? I love you, bro. You're great at what you do.
Thank
I'm
you,
always
Scotty.
watching your show. You're one of my biggest fans on the fantasy football.
I'm one of your biggest fans.
Man, I just gotta touch base back to Ridley because I got him in a couple leagues and he's killing me, man. I get it. You're telling people to keep him, don't worry. But bro, he got 2 games over 20, one game at 11 fantasy points. The other 4 are under 10, man. That's just trash, bro. You can't keep putting someone like that in your lineup, dude. And you know what I mean? Like, keep losing games, bro, because of that.
I don't blame you. That's why I said from the onset of this show that if you need to sit him, sit him. But do not cut him. Do not sell him for garbage. And would I buy him? Personally, I would. That doesn't mean that I feel ultra confident that what the problem is going to get solved. And I don't think it's Ridley. It's not everyone. The part that I have a problem with is when people say Ridley is trash. Ridley is garbage. Ridley can't play.
But what is going on? Like, what's going on?
Well, it's a combination of 1,000 different things. And you can't make excuses for him at some point. And so I've come to terms in saying this. But you can't. When people say he's garbage, I know they're acting on emotion. He's not garbage. He's a great receiver. And he just pulled an amazing one-handed sideline catch that I believe should have been ruled in bounds, which would have added a little bit to his total. He would have 2 catches for 30 yards or whatever. And I just think when people say he's trash, they're not looking at the facts. They're just emotionally reacting. And what they probably mean most of the time is Ridley, from a fantasy football standpoint, is trash. And I could understand that. And man, that's what a lot of people probably mean. They're just speaking out of emotion and they're upset. But am I going to buy him? I still do. Like, Ridley has constantly been blanketed defensively. He's had a London game. And what? Didn't he have 2 London games? I don't know. Was it more? It was a London game. And then he's had 2 Thursday night games. Like, there's been some reasons why there's a little bit of a hesitation in playing him multiple weeks. They're like, okay, it's a Thursday game. Oh, it's a London game. Oh, it's this. And like I said, at some point you're becoming a Ridley apologist. And I hate doing that. And I can't continue to say that, over and over. So I made it very abundantly clear. Anthony, I made it abundantly clear. Woulda, shoulda, coulda, all that. I've said all this from the onset of the show. Bench him? Okay. Cut him? No. Trade for him on the cheap based on the expectations of everybody or the disappointment that everybody has? Yeah. I mean, if Ridley was cut right now, are you not picking him up in a league, Scotty Dew? Are you not cutting a guy like Michael Wilson from the Cardinals? Like,
he's a 3rd-round pick, man. It's basically
I understand.
What the hell, man?
I understand, but let me just ask you an objective question. Aside from where you drafted him, if you're in a league where you don't own him and he got cut, would you cut Michael Wilson for him?
Well, yeah, but when can you play him? That's the problem.
That's a whole different question. But I'm just merely pointing out that everyone's acting very, very freaking overreactive with this. He's got 2 100-yard games. He was saturated in the last drive with targets, 3 in a row. They connected on one of them.
That's not going to do it.
I know.
That's not going to win you. That's not going to do it, man.
I know, Scotty. That's why I said at the look. I'm not going to keep going in circles on this. I said at the onset of this show, if you've got to bench him, bench him. So I don't know what we're arguing, Scotty.
I know. I'm not trying to argue. I mean,
yeah,
for God's sake, Trevor Lawrence is throwing to Agnew. Like, come on, bro. Really?
What can you do? What can you do? Bench him for now if you need to. It depends on what your options are, but you can't cut him. That's my point. And if he gets cut, you need to grab him. It's not like he's garbage. Like everyone's saying, he's garbage. He's a horrible wide receiver. He made no separation. Give me a break. He's not garbage. Is he playing like fantasy football inconsistent? Garbage. Sure, you could say it that way. I could get on board that, but it's crazy.
I understand. We'll make this quick because I know you got to go and you got other people to talk to, but. I mean, shit, the whole half, he didn't even, throw the ball to him. Throw your number 1 the ball. At least give him some opportunities to make a play, man. And he's not even doing that.
Yeah. All right, bro.
Looking the other way.
All right. Anything else, Scotty? You got anything you want to ask me other than you're pissed off at Ridley?
No, man. I'm good, man. For now, I got some things I got to take care of. I just want to hop on your show and see what's going on. But I appreciate you, man, and you have a good night.
All right. Peace out. Appreciate you.
All right, buddy.
Okay. Matthew, you got 30. I got to get to these super chats, so I'm holding everybody to their 30 seconds. So you got 27 seconds, and I hang up.
What's up, Smitty?
What's up, pal?
I would be giving up A.J. Brown, Gibbs, and Monty for Bijan and CeeDee Lamb.
All right. Listen offline. Appreciate you, pal. Thanks for the question. AJB, Gibbs, Monty for CeeDee Lamb and Bijan. I'm probably going to go CeeDee and Bijan, bro. I mean, there's arguments, there's hesitations, but at the end of the day, there's no way I'm going to not believe in him to this level, and he just had a bounce back game. There's concerns that Lamb continues. I get it, but he's injured. We don't know what the hell's going on here. With our luck with Gibbs, they're just going to run Reynolds, and we're just going to be like, what in the hell? AJB's fantastic, of course, but I don't see this. Look, if Monty were healthy, it would be a different conversation. But that's the way I take it. Okay, let's go to Theo from Illinois. You got 30.
I traded Stephon Diggs and Jordan Addison for Jamar Chase and Devonta Smith. Is that a good trade?
Diggs and what?
Diggs and Addison for Jamar and Devonta Smith.
Chase and Smith? I like the Chase and Smith side a lot.
So you take Chase and Smith?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Smitty.
I think there's arguments to be made, obviously, but Diggs is great, but so is Chase.
I smashed the Chase side.
Yeah, I would too.
So thanks.
All right, later.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, good call. Draven, you got 30. Draven.
Hey, Smitty. I won $70 tonight on a app that I'm not going to say because you may hang up on me. But Underdog Fantasy, we are looking good. But
Nice.
My question is, Packers defense against the Broncos or the Colts defense against the Browns?
I'm going to go Green Bay. Green Bay.
I think Smitty.
I think Green Bay has a good game in this one. I think Green Bay does win this game, but there's pros and cons to that, and I think it depends on if Watson plays and all that. So, but I believe that Green Bay on the road against this Denver Bronco disaster of a team is probably going to lead to some points in production. Give me Green Bay. Give me Green Bay bouncing back big. Love having a nice little day. Between those mediocre quarterbacks that were hoping to have big seasons, I know T-Law has been disappointing. I get it, but hopefully Love at least pulls through on that. They're mid-tier quarterbacks. We're hoping to do big things, and they're not locks. There never were top 5 guys. There were guys that could dance sometimes. Hopefully with the big dogs. T-Law's winning games, but definitely not fantasy-wise doing what we want yet. I'm not giving up on him completely for his career, but are you starting T-Law next week? Probably not. Or this next game. Depends on what you have. I think Jordan Love has the opportunity to rectify this for the two of them and be the one guy that has a real nice outing. I think it all comes down to Christian Watson and Aaron Jones, so hang tight on that. Let's hit these super chats real quick. We got a $20 hauler from Chris Weiss dropping a 20 watt on screen. He says Higgins and Spears for Gibbs. I would rather, look, if we were told Gibbs was starting and they were going to unleash him, I would be on the Gibbs side here. I think being cautiously optimistic about Gibbs, but saying to ourselves, look, Spears is also league winning and in really the same boat as Gibbs. Because once Monty comes back, Gibbs is still backing up Monty. And so Spears and Gibbs, they're in the same kind of role, despite Gibbs being maybe in a better spot right now. But what if Henry gets traded and Higgins is good enough to say, give me the Higgins side? Thank you for the $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Jeez. 4 pull-ups. It's hard these days. Thank you for the $20 hauler, my main man. And then we got another from Johnny dropping a 20 watt on screen. Johnny, my boy. Appreciate you, Johnny. Johnny says, I lost Monty and Kyron to injury. Aaron Jones may not play. Brees on a bye. Who should I grab off waivers? I picked up Evans and Hunt. Chad, are we doing Evans or Hunt this week? I kind of lean Evans, but there is some ambiguity there. Same thing with Hunt, though, and he is sharing. So really, in a worst-case scenario, Evans is sharing the same amount Hunt is, but maybe not. So I'd probably go Evans. Chad, if you disagree, let me know. Mason is already gone. Mitchell is probably the backup anyway, so you might want to look for Mitchell. But I would say Evans. Evans is a pretty, not a great play, but a solid play.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super.
I'm able to do 4 multiple times now, though. That's good. Definitely getting stronger, but thank you for the $20 hauler. Jumpin' John says Olave had 15 targets. Relax, people. That's a good perspective, and I'm glad somebody's defending Olave. Thank you for the super chat. Would you trade Kamara for Bijan in Dynasty? Absolutely. Yes, Jedi. Yeah, Kamara's older, bro. Like that would be vetoed in a world I live in. Start Deontay if he plays or Downs. Probably Downs. I don't know what Deontay's going to do. Not to mention Pickett doesn't love him. He doesn't love him, bro. Gaskin or Henderson. Just Sherman, email me and we'll connect, all right? Gaskin or Henderson, deep dynasty for bye weeks. Probably Gaskin, but that's only because I don't know. Maybe Hendy's safer. Hendy could be safer, a little more experience, but yeah, I guess Hendy. I like Gaskin a lot, but I just don't know that he's going to get a shot. You know, why didn't he get a shot when he had a shot in Miami back when he was there? Kind of frustrating because I really liked Gaskin. $5 hauler, been trying to get Eckler for D-Hop and Jacobs. It's not working. After tonight, going to see if Jacobs and Evans gets back Ridley and Eckler. I would do that. That's the kind of thing that you get creative and crafty to throw in an Eckler. I'm sorry, to throw in a Ridley into an Eckler trade. And I think that, man, well, I don't even have a drink this time. I usually have a drink here. My throat's so dry from talking. I definitely throw Ridley in. That'd be a fantastic trade. Is T-Law a sell high candidate? No, I don't think anybody's going to buy him high. Is he a sell low candidate? Depends on how hurt people are at running back. But that's a wrong way to describe him as sell high. Bijan and Garrett Wilson for Kyron and AJB Deontay. Yeah. I would probably take... no. I'm not trading Bijan. I'm not trading Bijan. I would do it if I was Swift, but I'm not doing it if it's Bijan. I think that was the same caller. Trade Gibbs and Waddle for Walker and Sharps. I would take Walker and Sharps. They're bye week free, and I do it live. That's a good trade. Hassan with a super. What's up, Smitty? Had T-Law and Kirk stacked to the moon. Nice job. Not a bad day for you then. I mean, T-Law didn't do horribly in fantasy. He had a touchdown and he had 60 yards rushing. It was essentially like having a 200-yard, 2-touchdown performance because of the 60 rushing yards. PPR had Bijan and Taylor, Mixon, Puka, Deontay Johnson, Hopkins, Mark Andrews. Just traded Gabe Davis and James Cook for T. Higgins. I like that. I Smitty approved that.
You've just been Smitty approved.
I don't mind that at all.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Sorry, I had to fix something there. Midnight, appreciate you. Bijan, yeah, that's great trade. This is from Christopher Ridley. What's his question? Ridley still making bets on the sideline. Yeah, maybe, bro. Maybe. Appreciate your super chat. Who do you recommend I target with Stevenson? I can get a guy like Waddle if I package him with somebody like Osborne. I'd definitely take Waddle. I'd take Waddle. I'd take Devontae Smith. I would take, honestly, I would take, I mean, you could go after Ridley. I mean, look, Ridley and Stevenson are in the same boat. You need a wide receiver. I don't care what anybody says. That's not a crazy move. Stevenson is very questionable right now in his own right. So, but I would rather have Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith, I think, is the best buy low wide receiver right now. Thank you, Left Behind Times. Appreciate your super chat. You are the man, the myth, the legend. Nick, appreciate you. I started ETN and Kamara tonight. 22.3 points for ETN and 27.9 points for Kamara. And I benched Ridley. I'm currently 52-0 on my opponent until Sunday. That's good. Good start. You're definitely on your way to winning that game, bro. Excellent coaching decisions and management with the squad there. Currently 5-1 PPR. Should I trade AJ Brown and Pollard for Puka, Eckler, and Kyren? Yes, I would do that trade in a heartbeat because once Kyren comes back, it's unfair. Right now, it's even with Kyren out, in a sense. Superfish $5 hauler. Ridley's role has been to open it up for Kirk, Ingram, ETN underneath, and then he's the emergency dart at the end, basically a talented decoy. Not badly worded. I think there's some truth to that. I think there's also some opportunity to, continue to head down the same road of apologizing for him over and over, and at the end of the day, he doesn't deliver. I get that, but there's also an opportunity to, I think, rebound from this. But I know a lot of people don't want to wait, so I get it. That's why I say bench him if you have to. Number 1, Hurts, Hawkinson for K9 Ridley. Hurts, Hawkinson for K9 Ridley. I would take Hurts and Hawkinson if you're desperate at quarterback. Number 2, Burrow, Roshan for London and Evans. Or you're trading for K9 and Ridley, aren't you? So who's your quarterback? I don't know. I'll assume it's a great quarterback. So Hurts, Hawkinson for K9 Ridley. Number 2 is Burrow, Roshan for London Evans. If you're getting the Burrow side's better than the London Evans. The Hurts and Hawkinson's better than the K9 Ridley if you need a quarterback very badly and a tight end. But you could argue K9 and Ridley is great too. It just depends on your needs. Have Love as QB. There it is. Love as QB. I'm not doing the Burrow trade. Hurts and Hawkinson for K9 and Ridley. It's interesting, but I don't know that I'm making the trade. I have Gibbs, JT, Hall. I'm keeping Hurts. Your team with Hurts and Hawkinson's fantastic. Stand down, Elvis. You're trying to do too much, I think. I don't hate it. And K. Walker with the bye week out of the way, I don't hate it, but you're doing too much. Your team's really good. Achan, JT for K9 or Eckler. I think that's probably too much for... I'd rather have JT and Achan. I like Eckler a lot, but that's too much. I like K9 a lot, but that's too much. Achan, once he's back, could be better than every one of them. So if JT does play well at all, you're really getting screwed at the end of the day. But it's debatable based on JT. Appreciate you, Draven. Kamara playing wide receiver now. He's always been playing wide receiver, Draven. But yes, he's a phenomenal wide receiver right now. Trade Lamar, Ford, and Michael Thomas Boyd for Swift and Tyreek Hill? Lamar, Ford, and Michael. That might be Taysom Hill. I don't know if that's... You got to clarify. I don't know if that's Taysom Hill or Tyreek Hill. Lamar, Ford, and Thomas for Boyd, Swift, and Boyd for Swift. And if it's Swift and Taysom Hill, then it's kind of like... it depends on the quarterback situation. Is it super flex? If it's not super flex, who's your quarterback? But it's an arguable thing. If you're getting Tyreek Hill, obviously that's a smash on the Tyreek Hill side and take a lap for asking. But if it's just Taysom, then it makes it like I need to know a lot more information. Got offered Bijan for my Lamar. If you're okay at quarterback, I'd take Bijan. Like, if you've got a good quarterback, I'd take Bijan. But it also depends on who you have. How important is quarterback? What do they score? Is it 1 QB? Smitty losing his voice for us. Respect. Thank you, Draven. Appreciate you, Draven. Cam with the super chat here. 8 manager, PPR. Burrow, Kyler, Mostert, Achane. Love it. Love it. Wilson Jr. Got it all cuffed up and buttoned up, don't you? Breece Hall. Okay. James Cook, Tyreek, Jamar, Chase. This is a good squad. 4-2. Any moves? The moves are probably to hold, broski. I don't think there's any moves to be made unless you're turning Burrow and Kyler into Hurts or Burrow and Kyler into Mahomes. You know, I'd trade both of them if the person wanted, assuming it's 1 QB. Using McLaurin, using maybe even Watson or Rice or Brian Robinson or James Cook to get Burrow, Kyler into Mahomes, Josh Allen, or Hurts. But that's the only move. The quarterback upgrade, or you sit back and you wait. Non-PPR QBs, this is a $10 hauler. Appreciate you at the 10 spot. This is non-PPR QB Stroud, Law, Murray. Murray should come in and save the day for you. JJ, Olave, Wilson, Kirk, Godwin, Myers, Rice, K9, James Cook, Aaron Jones. What 2 for 2 trades with JJ? JJ for that Achane and a wide receiver is my favorite right now. Going to the Devontae Smith owner and seeing what running back they also could include in the deal. Definitely think Achane's one of the best players to get, though, in a JJ trade, because you're going to get something else. And how cheaply can you in bargain shop for that second player? So, Hassan, that's the main thing. I think, you know, you have Aaron Jones. He's also a good target, but he's also banged up. So that's you know, that's not on the table here. But for other people, that's still a consideration. I think Bijan or Swift are great potential go-gets for JJ. And then if you can get something else, then Swift you can. Swift and a wide receiver like Devontae Smith, perfect. Olave, perfect. Lamb might not be as attainable right now, but those are all great JJ trades. As far as, like, if you were to go after a Bijan, you probably have to do that straight up, and I would in many cases. So that's a good question. JJ's definitely a guy I want you guys all trading, though, if you can't win now. You know, if you're gonna be down and out, you know, you can't wait 3, 4, 5, 6 games. You're amazing, Smitty, says Elvis. Elvis, you are. Consider this Gatorade money. Thank you, appreciate you. I do like those Gatorade Twitches, man. They're pretty good. Bryce, appreciate you with the $5 Dynasty 12-team PPR 1 and 5 rebuilding. What do you do with White, Ridley, and Kamara? Have Love, Stafford, Chubb, Wilson, Pickens, Laporta, traded Kelsey. Have 3 first-rounders. Dynasty, what do you do with Kamara? I mean, you go to a team that wants to win now and you trade Kamara for a first-rounder. I don't know that they'll do it. I don't know if you could get Jahmyr Gibbs and take that gamble. I don't know if you could go get Devontae Smith right now for Kamara. Those would be fantastic moves for a Dynasty Kamara owner that wants to get rid of him now and sell. Answer a question in the chat, says Draven. Thank you, Draven, for doing that. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let me find a question here. Start Kamara, ETN in 2 leagues. It's not a question. Somebody ask a question, and I will answer it for Draven. So I'll look for it right now. Ask away. Only making jokes so I don't cry, says Mr. TD. Robert Woods over Ridley, says Hammer. These are some gross overreactions, but it's okay. Ridley straight garbage. This is a Ridley trash sesh right here. And I don't blame everybody for needing it. But you know, these are gross overreactions, I would say. I would say definitely. I don't know what everybody's going to think of him if they bench him next week, which they most certainly will, or the next game here. Who has the bye week next week? Who are the byes? I definitely feel like everybody that benches Ridley and he goes nuts will absolutely hate him even more. Just straight up will despise him. Maybe even trade him away for even worse value later. That's the only risk you run. You know, And let's see here. Bye weeks. Week 8. Do we have week 8? Where are the week 8 bye weeks? Are there no week 8 bye weeks? Is it take a break, a bye week break? I don't know. I'll have to pull this up. Ridley vent for sure. It's warranted. I'm a panic Peter on Ridley. Flex DJ Moore here. Mike's asking a question instead of crying about Ridley, which I'm okay with everybody. I'm to some point I'm crying about Ridley too. You know, it's part of what we need to do tonight. I get it. DJ Moore, Lockett or Palmer, says Mike. I would say I can't sit DJ Moore here, but Lockett might be a tad bit safer. You know, it's Lockett. As long as he plays, Lockett, you got to check the news, and obviously we'll be on top of that, especially the hour before kickoff. But Lockett is pretty safe if you want safety. DJ's hard to sit, but he does have a rookie quarterback, and who the hell knows how that's going to shake out. Nico or Hollywood? I would say Nico for me on the year, but obviously he's on a bye week, so you can't start him this week. A Bandy with the super chat here: Breece Hall or Kamara rest of season. I'm gonna say Kamara is a tad bit safer, but Breece Hall has more upside. A little bit more risk, but more upside. So you almost got to pick your poison. I'd venture to say Kamara for anybody that needs safety and needs that. You know, the only problem is like the offense is bad. Like at some point he may or may not get as much passing work, and then he's kind of like removed from the equation. But they keep throwing to him and they use him, and Carr trusts him, and at least that rapport is there. So definitely Kamara's safer. Should I trade Hawkinson and Godwin for Ingram, Justin Jefferson? Yeah, I would do that. And then I would try and flip JJ, but that is a good trade for JJ. That's one where I feel like you got a lot of value out of that. Trade Puka, Pollard, Pittman for Tyreek and Thielen. I would definitely take Tyreek. Maybe not. I'd probably take Tyreek and Thielen. But that's a very arguable question, Mateo. That is a very, 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 very tough question. Let me put Mateo's question up one more time. That is tough. Chat, what are you doing here? Are you taking Puka, Pollard, and Pittman, or Tyreek and Thielen? That's a very tough one. Bryson, trade Ridley for Nico or Hollywood. Look, I couldn't blame you for taking Nico. I couldn't. Nico's a good player. You know, go get Nico if you really want out, and that's not horrible. I like Nico a lot, so that's not horrible. Was offered St. Brown for Kupp and a late 24 first rounder. Was offered St. Brown for Kupp. I mean, bro, Kupp doesn't have a lot of long-term value, so St. Brown does. I would take St. Brown over Kupp free. Without the additional first rounder, you get to add in a first rounder. That is like highway robbery. That is highway freaking robbery, my guy. That's crazy. Rashad White in a dynasty snaps are good, but I don't know. I'm not a big Rashad White fan in that situation. I like him as a player. Traded Kenny for AJB, needed a wide receiver. They're very, very even. Like, you could definitely say to somebody, you need a wide receiver, take the AJB side. You need a running back, take the Kenneth Walker side. That's literally a neck and neck, even Steven type of trade. So don't mind either side of that. And then let me put that we have a celebration of Andrew. These ain't loyal. Andrew's saying something about somebody not being loyal. Andrew, I appreciate your super chat, or not your chat, but your celebration of 6 months. Andrew to the moon. Andrew, sorry I missed that until right now. And thank you for anybody that dropped the gifted memberships. Ron Navy gifted 10 memberships earlier. Ron Navy, thank you for dropping that. Johnny Not Bravo says no. He says for me to give the first with Kupp. Oh, I'm sorry if I read that wrong. I would say, I don't know if I like that. If it's a late first rounder, I don't mind it. But that is a lot to give because of the way Cup's playing right now. Like, I almost feel like this guy should be doing this to win. You know what I mean? Like, that's tough to throw a first rounder in when you're giving up a guy in Cup that could help him win his league right now. Eckler for St. Brown. I'd rather have Eckler and redraft, obviously, St. Brown and Dynasty, and go forward. If I needed an RB, I'm on the Eckler side. If I needed a wide receiver, I could get behind the St. Brown side, but I do believe maybe because running backs are such a hindered position right now that you can get a little bit more, my bro. I think you can get a little bit more. Was on the phone with my aunt through most of the 1984 Super Bowl between the Niners and Dolphins, says Superfish. That's a crazy story. I have Olave, Ford, and Waddle, says Christopher. Well, not to be a Debbie Downer, but I think, this little vent session was needed. I think a lot of people are worked up right now. I'm glad we got to hang out for, a good, what has it been, hour and a half? I mean, hour and a half is a long show for many people. It's a short show for us, but I think I'm going to call it, and we'll regroup tomorrow. I know a lot of people wanted to vent, but look, a lot of great happened today. We had Kamara and ETN going crazy today. Unbelievable. Feels stuck, wide receiver 2. What can we do with Ridley and Debo? Nobody's buying Ridley, so you can't really sell him unless you're going to try and do some sort of like Devontae Smith, maneuver where you give both of those guys, you get Devontae and Tank Dell or something, and you kind of get out of that by getting into another risky player. But that's really the only way. Have Ridley still start next week, but disappointed. Have Ridley still starting next week. So, Anthony, you're crapping all over him. You're still going to start him? Look, I think everybody just needs to take a day and think about it, okay, before you start being rash and throwing this guy out the window. Just take a deep breath and relax for a minute. Ridley for Kyron. I take Kyron, Bryson. Even somebody that's trying to defend Ridley to a small degree, not a lot. I'm just telling people not to freak out and cut him. I'd take Kyron. Kamara has been a steal in my drafts, and to the point of that other one was the trade of Debo and Ridley. I don't necessarily trade Debo and Ridley because I still think both of them have value. I think Debo just needs to get healthy, and then he could play like a wide receiver 2 with ease. So nobody should be giving away Debo for the Debo questions we just had, just to clarify. But if you're trading Ridley and Debo for Devontae Smith, you need something else. The whole point is to go get another doubted player and maybe 2 doubted players. So Kyron over Ridley for sure. That's a great move. Underdog Fantasy Draft, says Big Dog. We could do a quick one real quick. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, where Underdog will match up to $500 on your first deposit. Hit this link right now, Underdog Fantasy. I'm going to drop the link. If anybody wants to draft right now with me, right now, this very second, we're going to jump straight into an Underdog draft. Let's pull up Underdog right now. Let me pin this link in the live chat. Please hit the link right now. The link inserts promo code Smitty for you. Promo code Smitty will get you up to $500 bonus match on your first deposit. Do it live. Okay, so we're going to go into a draft right now. We're going to go to the draft tab on the bottom. We're going to be in the lobby, and we're going to swipe over to the week 2 card, the week 7 card, the number 2 card, Battle Royale week 7. Click Battle Royale week 7. Okay. Hit that now. Do it live. And then hit the enter button right now. This is a Battle Royale week 7 contest. Let me see if I can move this up a little bit. There we go. Hit enter. 5 more to start. Click the link. Battle Royale Week 7. Do it live. This is from DeBalt. DeBalt says Kamara is it even in standard leagues. Yeah, he's fantastic, bro. Kamara is one for the ages, man. That was one of the best calls we had all offseason for sure. Kamara was trashed all over the place, and for good reason. He's on the Planet Uranus men list as we speak. Still lots of season left. Hold Ridley, says Bryson. Agreed. I think everybody just needs to vent. I mean, a lot of people need to vent, and I understand it. I'm not mad at anybody for being upset at Ridley. I got the 2 pick here in this draft. If anybody wants to draft alongside of us, the link has been dropped in the live chat and pinned. The link is also in the description of every video, and using code Smitty will get you a doubling of your first deposit up to $500 for a limited time. Underdog Fantasy, code Smitty. Code Smitty. You can use code Smitty to get that double up to $500, or use the link. Let's see here. If you don't get in a draft with me, because only 6 people can get in each draft, make sure you jump in one alongside of us. Do I go Kelsey? Do I go Eckler? Do I go Kenneth Walker? I guess I'm going to go Kelsey here. Thank you, Jose. Appreciate you. DeBalt, thank you. Bryce, appreciate you. Bryce to the moon. Bryce to the freaking moon. Hassan, would you trade J.J. Godwin and Aaron Jones for Diggs and Swift? I would take Diggs and Swift over J.J. Godwin and Aaron Jones. That's a great question, though. And that's the type of move you make to get rid of J.J. I like that a lot. And where's Josh Sherman? Can you email me right now? And if you're free, I can give you a call right now, bro. Anybody wants to order a phone call? Anybody wants to do that? You just go to thefantasyfootballshow.com. Okay, anytime. thefantasyfootballshow.com. Appreciate you all. All right, where were we at? Mark Andrews. Okay, so Mahomes went. I was really hoping to cuff Mahomes with Kelsey. Thanks a lot for raining on my parade. Tampa Bucks. Whoever that is. Would you trade ETN for Breece Hall in Dynasty? Those are 2 very close players. I'd rather have Breece Hall, but they're very, very close. Should I try and get Breece and Charbonnet with ETN? Yeah. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's go. I'm going to go Josh Allen there. He also has Charbonnet, and I have Walker. Should I try and get Breece Hall and Charbonnet? I would probably do that, bro. I mean, I like Breece Hall more than ETN for the long term, but they're both very good. And thank you for the $5 hauler. They're both very good, bro. But Breece is definitely ranking, top maybe 2 or 3 or 4 running back for me. Pacheco, Puka, Nakua, Christian Watt. What am I doing here? Let's go. I guess we'll go Adams, Travis, Kelsey, Josh Allen, Devontae Adams. Thank you, Sizzle. Appreciate your support. Bandy, 5-1. Hawkinson, Godwin for Jefferson, Ingram. I think I answered this one already. I'd take Jefferson, Ingram. Bandy, I definitely would. And then I try and flip Jefferson for an HN and wide receiver like Olave that's being crapped on left and right. It's definitely been a Ridley hate fest in here tonight. And I don't blame anybody. I'm not mad at anybody. I mean, Swaggy, Ridley for food stamps. People are just tearing into this man. And I get it. And that's why I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not. I get it. Everybody can just vent as long as they want. Rockout wants to do karate in the garage. I can get behind that. Right now, I could use a little karate, little venting, little karate sesh. Olave over Waddle. Let's answer this for Oscar. Vote on this one. He wants to hear what the chat's going to say. This team right here so far, Josh Allen, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce. Feeling pretty good about the squad. Let's go ahead and roll with, I think I'm going to go Mike Evans here. Sizzle Sack says you're definitely the best content creator. Thank you, Sizzle. Send Sizzle Sack to the moon.
To the moon.
Oh, we're going to time out here if we aren't careful. We haven't taken Amari Cooper in a while. Let's do it. Let's just grab him. Two of my most doubted players for their situations, or hating their situations, not necessarily their talent. Amari Cooper and Devontae Adams. Let's roll with them this week. Traded my Wilson, Komet Madison for Tua and Jonnu. I could get behind that if you need a quarterback badly. Sold Ridley for Pittman on Wednesday. I think a lot of people in here are going to like that. Have anything? I'll have anything with Tua Tagovailoa right now, says Birdman. I like Tua this week. I like Tua every week that he's healthy. Cooper to the moon, says Noah. God, I really came into this live. I wonder what would happen if I had if I told you guys all, hey, this isn't good timing, but I did have an acceptance of a player coming on, and it's Calvin Ridley. I wonder what you would all say to him. I wonder if you guys would swallow the anger, and what would you say? What would the chat be saying to Calvin Ridley right now? I wonder. I just don't. I don't know. Timeout by, let's go JT here. Wouldn't that be amazing? I think this is kind of like a crafty move to draft JT in this league this week. Because like a lot of people are going to stay away from him. He's going in the final round. So Josh Allen, JT, Devontae Adams, Evans, Cooper, Kelce. Let's do one more. Your boy got the highest ranked team so far in this one. Not that matters at all, because they seem to be off with it. But 82.5 projected points. I like the squad. All right, one more. Click the Battle Royale week number 7. Hit the green button now. There's about a 10-second YouTube delay at this point in the live stream. So clicking it right now. Do it live. Welch says Ridley will go off at the end of the season. Wouldn't shock me. Ridley is so damn talented. Once things click, that offense really is going to be fire, says Sizzle Sack. Some of you are Ridley believers. It's amazing how many people are completely just cutting him and writing him off. I can't wait to see how many waiver wires he ends up on this week. I really, really am going to be anxious to see if people are going to put their their money where their mouth is on some of the I'm cutting him, etc., etc. I just can't wait to see if people put their money where their mouth is, if there's even a percentage of drop, like a significant drop rate. Kirk is the alpha on that team, says Swaggy. I was hyping Ridley at the start of the season, but he looks bad. Not many opportunities. I get it. I get it. Trust your gut, people. Trust your gut. Travis Kelce, Austin Eckler. Sam says, it is what it is. Why would anybody want to sell a player like Ridley on the low? I agree. I was trying to be here to calm the storm a little bit, but did you guys not see that ridiculous one-handed catch he made? I agree. I talked about it on the show. But I know a lot of people don't want to hear it right now, so that's why I'm not emphasizing too much. Just kind of moving forward, moving along. Let's go Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker. Everybody, Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Hit that link that's in the live chat. It's pinned in the live chat. Please do it live. And it's in the description of the video. Let's go Mahomey. So as of right now, we got Kenny Walker and Mahomey. He went out of bounds on purpose. Somebody check his Underdog account. See if Ridley had the under the lower on his yardage total. You guys are a trip, bro. You guys are an absolute trip. Trade my JJ for Aaron Jones and Laporta. I think that's a good trade if you need an RB and tight end badly. But there's some argument to say get something different. But sold my Gibbs and Stroud bye week for Lamar Jackson. Still Brees, Swift, Javonte. I don't mind that. You're getting a quarterback. You need a quarterback. I don't mind that at all. It makes sense, bro. Lamar's got a lot of upside despite being very risky himself. Puka and Swift for Garrett Wilson, K9. I could get behind either side of this trade. I lean toward the K9 Garrett Wilson side, but certainly Puka is probably safer than Garrett Wilson and K9 safer than Swift. And K9's already at his bye week. Very close, probably like one of those like 55% leans toward the K9 side. Thank you for your super chat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like 80% sure. I feel 55, 60% sure that I would want that other side. God, this year's been, look, there's been great stuff. I mean, look, ETN, we're probably the biggest, like, supporting creator page and show of ETN out there. Nobody talked up ETN like we did last year. Nobody had ETN as high ranked as we did. We are the definition of an ETN fan page, a show. And Kamara, I don't know there's nobody that talked Kamara up more than we did. We had a good day from a fantasy perspective tonight. But of course, let's go Adam. I'm going to Adams a couple times in this just because he's fallen in the right spot. This is a good day for us in fantasy. ETN and Kamara exploded. So, like, even so, one bad thing like Ridley being bad still right now, playing bad still, it just puts a little bit of a damper on it. I feel you. I understand it. As much as we should be excited about tonight's baller performances from two players we constantly talk up, it still feels like you got kicked in the nuts. That's the way fantasy is. Unless everything's 100%, you still feel like you somehow lost, even when things are smashing, even when business is good. There's still concern. We went with Christian Watson. That's just the nature of fantasy. That's one reason I absolutely freaking love the offseason. Just for me, from a content creator perspective, I love just talking about a topic like, oh my God, where's Barkley going to sign? Is he going to, what's going to happen with Barkley in 2024? Like doing an hour and a half show on Barkley. Like that's what I love so much more than anything else. I love when things are going well. It sucks when things are going bad. I love drafting with you all. I love doing the start bench stuff with you all. I love hitting home runs. I love trying to come back from maybe mispredictions. There's good and bad for all of that, But man, I can't wait. My favorite time of the year, I tell you guys this every year, is January 1. That's my favorite day of the year. While everybody's out boozing it up, which is fine, no judgment. I'm here at the shop, in the studio, at the lab, mixing up the beakers of fantasy football predictions and knowledge, and I'm pouring them in, making some formulas. And on January 1, we start talking 2024 content, waiver, free agency, NFL draft, prospect scouting, everything starts dropping January 1. January 1 is my favorite day of the year. It's absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait. These two super chats, appreciate you. Trade my Ridley for Madison and Madison for Breece Hall. Of course you take Breece Hall, but South, I think you're cooking that one up in your own lab, because I don't think anyone's doing that. Breece Hall, you're going to get Breece Hall right now for Ridley after dropping an absolute bad performance? I don't think so. It's a good idea. It's cute. But if you pull that off, come back and tell us and we'll celebrate it. Starting Kyler when he's back, drop Stroud or T-Law. Make that decision after this week if you can. If you can't, I mean, you're probably keeping Stroud because he's safer. You know what I mean? Like, that's just logical. Does Aaron Jones play this week? I feel like I could screw this up. I don't know if he's going to play. I'm going to go Gibbs. I hope Gibbs gets to start. Musgrave or Waller or Pitts or Logan Thomas or Mayer. I feel like Mayer's kind of on the rise right now. I like Logan a lot. Let's go. I like Luke Musgrave probably the most. So the team right now is Patrick Mahomes, Kenny Walker, Jahmyr Gibbs, Devontae Adams, Christian Watson, and Luke Musgrave. Terry Roberts in the building. Terry, appreciate you, pal. He says, The Fantasy Football Show.com, year-round fantasy football content, thefantasyfootballshow.com. Terry Roberts knows what he's talking about. Mod Squad in the house. Appreciate you, Terry. Appreciate Travis Rowe. Appreciate all my mods in here. If Blackbeard's in here, if Vampy's in here, if Sick Nasty's in here. Those are all my main mods, and if I'm missing a mod, please let me know. The rankings are as follows. Very close scoring team. This team was the number one team. Gino, Pacheco, Brian, Bijan Robinson, DK. Okay. I got you. That's all she wrote for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Your boy's out. We went a good, that extended the show drafting by almost another half hour or so. Appreciate you all. I'll see you all tomorrow. We're live whenever news breaks, of course. Big news. And we're live 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Thank you all.